back to another episode of Bumbly Beach Adventure Park. This is episode number 2, and as you saw in the intro, we have accomplished quite a bit since the last time you saw this park. With this being episode 2, I just want to go ahead and throw it out there that a lot of these updates going forward are probably just going to be exactly that, updates without time lapses. I'm going to throw a couple in here and there, but for the most part, I think I'm just going to stick to this update format. It's just a little bit easier, I think, going forward with this project. But enough on that, let's go ahead and jump into a lot of the details here that we have at the entrance plaza. As you can see, we've added a sign and a lot more decals, so let's go look at that a little closer. Alright, so as you can see, we had these new touristy looking decals outside on the park fence. I actually did go back to using these bamboo fences. I love the way it turned out, and I love these little cheeky little wooden things on the actual signs. We have the Bumbly Beach Adventure Small Park here, as well as the water park hours. Yes, I said water park, as you can see right there, plainly written in English, and action zone. I'm excited to get to the water park. That will be very soon. We're going to finish the action zone first. But I'm really happy with how this fence turned out. It really does a great job of just playing the part, really. I mean, if you look at a lot of these budget adventure parks, water parks in tropical areas, you can see that there's a lot of like closed-in plaza areas. So love how that turned out. There's also some more decals over here, my favorite being the shark. If you know, you know. But I also really love these flags. They pull your eye in from the street or even from the parking garage. They pull it right to the entrance here with our brand new sign. I'm super happy with this sign. Took a little bit of trial and error using the scale tool. Using the scale tool, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. I was hesitant on putting a sign on the building, but I think this was by far the best choice given the circumstances. So really happy with that. I want to give one more last look over here before we go into the park. This is the view that you get when you walk out from the parking garage. So the fence really just captures the area, the trees and everything there, just captures the area and completes it, I think. So with that being said, let's go take a look at the inside entrance plaza and look at some of these go-karts that we've made. Alright, so we're here in the entrance plaza. It's developed quite a bit. As you can see, since the last episode, we have plenty of attractions and stuff, which we'll get to in a moment. First thing I want to say is this is a brand new project, obviously, and a lot of this is going to be work in progress. So a lot of this is not done. Definitely not the last adaptation that you're going to see of this entrance plaza. It's going to change and it's going to look different by the end. So going on, I want to talk about my influences for this park. So there used to be these parks called NASCAR speed parks back in the day, back when I was a kid. Those eventually all sold, but a lot of them still exist and have the same theming, just NASCAR stuff stripped out. So that was one of my first primary inspirations. But for the park itself, as far as the layout goes, I took heavy inspiration from Frankie's Fun Parks. There's like 4 or 5 of them on the East Coast, and they all seem to have these like really large plazas, which eventually most of this area is going to be filled out with pathing and planters. And they tend to have like only a few rides, like maybe a couple flat rides, like a couple go-kart tracks, mini golf, that kind of stuff. So I'm very much taking inspiration from that with the direction of the adventure zone or the action zone for the side of the park. So with that being said, we have a couple buildings going up here and there. There might be a couple more in some of this green space over here and a couple more flat rides, but this is pretty much going to be the foundation of this. And we'll get to this side of the park in a little bit. But for now, let's go ahead and break down what we have going on here. So this is going to be eventually just like a little gift shop and a little information center. We'll have like a snack shop, probably right over here in the future. But here's our planters. Here's our lovely planters. I'm not totally sold on this yet. I know it's the planter, but I might change this up a little bit, just like a lot of this other stuff. But you probably don't care about planters. You probably care about these go-karts. So let's go ahead and jump into both of these go-karts over here. Alright, so this is our go-kart track number 1. This is the first one I built in the build. I love the layout, and I love just the embeddedness into nature that it has. We have a couple different ponds here. We have this pond right here, and this pond right here. And then the whole thing is just covered with rocks, keeping it outside the border of the park. It has this little bunny hill here, which is I like a lot. I haven't really masked that up yet. I might mask it up in the future. But I kind of want to get a different angle here and look at just the nature. I'm super happy with the nature You know, obviously we're assuming that most of this is fake. A lot of go-kart parks have these fake rock walls that kind of separate from the outside of the park. It's a good way to keep, and you see this at many golf courses too. It's a good way to keep a border without making it feel like you're actually in a park. So it's really a cheap way of doing it, really efficient way of doing it. Speaking of, a lot of these go-kart parks, if not all of them, usually have the exact same station, and I went ahead and took that liberty and did that for all 3 of our go-kart tracks here. So let's go ahead and dive into some of the details here. I might add a little more details this in the future, but let's go ahead and show you what it is now. So this build is made up of a couple of different pieces. So we have support pieces right here that are for the flume. I just put them at a different angle. I think it's like a 6% or 6-degree angle. And then I scaled it up and made it gray for the footers. Copied and pasted that one all along the side. For the roofs, we have these rectangle art pieces. I absolutely love how they look and turned out. If I had the choice and could make textures in the game, I would make the stucco, but the metal actually does really work for the go-kart side of things. It makes it feel more like an adventure park, and the slanted style and stuff does feel a little different, makes it feel a little more on the Art Deco side. So it's not exactly Art Deco, but that's perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and get one more glimpse on the inside here. We have our no bumping signs being super monotonous going up and down. You typically do see this at go-kart tracks, having no bumping and all these other signs throughout the rest of the track, just being really obnoxious, making sure that you don't hit your peers on your go-karts. So wanted to feature that in here. I kind of want to add more. I want to add one more row just to be really obnoxious. So we'll see if we do that. But yeah, I'm a really big fan of how this turned out. We'll have signs once we come up with the names of these eventually. But that is the first track. Let's go ahead and look at track number 2 over here. All right, this is track number 2, and this track takes a heavy amount of inspiration from a lot of the different go-karts you're going to see in Pigeon Forge. If you've ever driven on the main strip in Pigeon Forge, you'll notice that a lot of the karts, the go-kart tracks there, are elevated and have these nice X-beams. These are not in the game, believe it or not. The supports actually just look like, let's see, like this right here, where they're just bare and missing. And that's not untypical in real life. When you start having the supports get close together, you typically may not see the X braces as much. But I decided to go ahead and add in these steel, let's see, these steel X braces here, plain support beams. Yeah, add them in. I scaled them down, and it was kind of a pain in the butt because they don't totally match up with the. Oh, I guess they do. I'm bad at aligning, but no one's gonna be looking this close anyway. Oh, these are wood supports. That's right. These are wooden, which works out perfectly fine. Excuse me, with this, because sometimes you're going to see wooden supports. So, regardless, I love how this turned out. I do want to add a couple more X braces in the future, like the inside of this and stuff. But kind of figured, it's not the most important thing in the world at the moment. But we'll get to that eventually off camera. Just like most of the things are going to be off camera. We still have a little bit more landscaping to do. I'm not going to do anything as detailed as this one over here. I'm going to put some sand down, maybe some plants here and there. But I want this one to more feel like the outside of the park and feel really connected to that in this regard. So this one will be mostly bare, I think. I'm really happy with the layout on this one. Better than this one over here, go-kart track number 1. They both work really well, but this one kind of has a more compact and speedy feel to it, and I love the elevation aspect to it. So that is track number 2. Let's go ahead and look at the rest of the park and go ahead and wrap this episode up and talk about the future. All right, so we've added this little roller coaster here. Some people consider them a roller coaster. They're a flat ride. I believe they're a flat ride. I don't know why Six Flags counts them as their roller coaster count, but I decided to add one of these just to give some flair and some really just like a really intense ride to the area. We're going to add at least 2 more on the other side of the park, but I love these rides. They're a lot of fun, and it just fit perfectly in the spot between go-kart track number 1 and go-kart track number 2. And plus, like, what's better marketing than when you're driving along the road and you just see that as you're driving by? Pretty awesome. And last but not least, we have this adorable little kiddie kart ride. This is meant for the younger kids of the park. It's just a circle with like 5 laps, and that's really it. It's going to be slow, and this is not its final home. I'm probably going to end up moving it. I'm not totally 100% sold on the exact layout of the park in my head yet on this side, but there's obviously not a lot of space to play around with here. So there's not a lot to talk about with that. I literally just kind of plopped that one down and then copied the station and shortened it. So there's not really a lot to talk about. But what I do want to talk about is the rest of this park. So I'm going to be really honest with you. I really want to add a water park in and start playing around with the water park features of this game. And that's going to be this section right here. So that's going to be a lot more detailed, and a lot more of the series is going to be focused on this. So don't be surprised if by episode 4 we're hitting the ground running with the water park. Heck, even episode 3. I might even just skip a lot of this and go over here. I just really want to get this water park started, so I probably won't, being honest, now that I hear myself say that, I probably won't skip this. I do want to finish this part of the park. There's not a lot of details. If you look at these fun parks, they're not super detailed. They are budget. They have fence, they have plants, they have a couple buildings and a couple fly rides, and that's it. So I'm going to stay on brand with that and then put a lot of my energy into this part of the park with the water park. So if that excites you, go ahead and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Most of my viewers are not subscribed. Hit the like button, turn on notifications, all that stuff, and this park's going to be coming around pretty quickly, so don't blink. I'm excited to get the rest in the next update up to you very soon, by next Wednesday. So I'll be seeing you then. In the meantime, you have a good day, night, or evening, and I'll catch you later. Bye.